The career you have been building is one bad decision by someone else, away from being gone. Not your decision, someone else's. And every year you spend getting better at your job makes that fact more uncomfortable, not less. You have been treating skill as protection. It is not. You have built something real, years of experience, a reputation inside your industry, a network that knows your name. You have moved up. You have delivered. You have done what was asked, and more. And when you look at your career from the outside, it looks solid. But sit with the structure of it for a moment. Your income flows from one source. Your skills are valued most inside the industry you already work in. Your reputation lives in rooms where the same people keep showing up. You have built depth. And depth inside a single system is not the same as strength. It is the shape of something that works perfectly until the system it lives inside stops working. And when that stops, the years you spent going deeper are exactly what make it harder to go somewhere else. Your career is not fragile because you made mistakes. It is fragile because you did everything right inside a structure that was always one event away from removing you from it. The concept is this: some things break when stress arrives. Other things use stress to get harder. A bone that fractures and heals is denser at the break than it was before. A person who loses a job, rebuilds from a different angle, and carries what they learned into the next thing is not back to where they were. They are past it. The difference between those two outcomes is not talent, it is structure. How the career was built before the disruption arrived, whether it was designed to absorb shocks or only to perform in calm conditions. Most careers are built to perform in calm conditions. Nobody tells you that. It just happens, because calm conditions are what most people experience most of the time. And so calm conditions are what most career advice was written for. The career built to get stronger from disruption looks different from the outside. And for a long time, it looks worse. In 1949, a wildfire breaks out in Man Gulch, Montana. A crew of 15 smoke jumpers parachutes in to contain it. Their foreman is a 33-year-old man named Wagner Dodge, who has been fighting fires for years. The fire crowns. It moves faster than any of them have experienced. It is going to outrun them before they reach the ridge. Dodge does something nobody on his crew has ever seen or been trained for. He stops running, he lights a match, and sets the grass in front of him on fire. He lies down in the ash of his own small burn and covers his face. He tells his crew to do the same. They keep running. They have no framework for what he just did. It looks like surrender. 13 of them die on the slope. Dodge survives. The fire passes over him. He had invented escape fire, the idea that you could burn away the fuel the main fire needed and survive inside the void you created. He had never been taught it. It came from years of understanding fire at a level that allowed him to invent a response to a situation that had no protocol. The crew who died were not less experienced. They ran faster. They did what training said to do. The protocol failed them because the event was outside the conditions the protocol was built for. Dodge survived because the years he had accumulated were not stored as rules. They were stored as understanding. An understanding, unlike rules, can be applied to situations that have never happened before. A career built on rules breaks when the rules stop applying. A career built on understanding gets used in ways nobody planned for. The same structure appears in the careers of surgeons who were trained during periods of genuine resource scarcity, military medics in the field, engineers who worked on projects that failed. The people who came through those situations carrying the weight of what went wrong are routinely more capable 10 years later than the people who never had the experience of the ground moving under them. Not because suffering improves people. It does not. Because being forced to improvise, adapt, and rebuild with different materials is the only way to find out what you actually know versus what you only knew how to execute in familiar conditions. You are probably managing your career the way you manage a performance review. You are optimizing for the metrics that get you further inside the structure you already occupy. More specialized, more valuable to the people who already see your value, more embedded, and you are ignoring the signals that the structure itself is shifting. The industry you work in is changing, and you are watching it with the assumption that your position inside it is more stable than the industry around it. Your skills are deep in one direction, and you have not built anything adjacent in years because there was no immediate reason to. You have one income source, and you are not building a second one because the first one is still working. Every one of those choices made sense in calm conditions. Every one of them is narrowing the gap between you and a serious problem when calm conditions end. You are not building a career, you are maintaining a position. Stop trying to be irreplaceable inside the structure you are in. Build the kind of career that does not require the structure to survive in order for you to survive. That means doing work that builds transferable understanding and not just domain-specific execution. The person who has shipped products, managed failure, and rebuilt from unexpected constraints inside one industry can walk into a different industry and apply the pattern. The person who has only ever executed inside one specific set of conditions cannot. One of those careers is getting stronger with every year. The other is getting more fragile. It also means treating disruption as data rather than damage. The colleague who gets laid off and immediately starts something of their own is not lucky. They are drawing on a reserve that was built before the disruption arrived. The reserve is not money, though money helps. It is the understanding of what they are actually capable of when the familiar supports are removed. What you give up is the feeling of security that comes from going deep in one direction. The sense that you are so good at the specific thing you do that nothing can touch you. That feeling is real. The security it describes is not. What you get in return is a career that uses adversity the way a bone uses fracture. Each break, handled right, leaves you harder at the break than you were before the break arrived. Most people never find out what their career is actually made of. Not because nothing ever went wrong, because they recovered back to the same position rather than using the break to rebuild into a different shape. Losing the job, the client, the role, the industry you counted on is not the end of the career. It is the first real test of whether the career was built to last or only built to continue. That is not a comfortable thing to sit with if you have been treating longevity as the same thing as strength. They are not the same thing, and you already know which one you have been building. Next video, the people whose careers survived the collapse of their entire industry did not predict it was coming. They had built something specific into the way they worked that made the collapse useful to them rather than fatal. It is not resilience. It is a structural quality that most career advice actively works against. And once you see it, you will not be able to look at a job description the same way again. Most people optimize for the wrong thing their entire working lives.